Good morning, guys. So this weekend, Florida finally caught up with the northern part of the country and decided to get a little cold. It's kind of a nice change to have a little different weather. But anyway, so what we're going to do is we are going to be flushing out the block real quick, and I'm probably going to run probably like 10 gallons of water through it, and we're also going to install a straight up. This will be easier for me to route, go straight up and then a 90 into the radiator instead of that 50-degree deal right there. So it's like this. It comes with an O-ring and special Allen heads to countersink down in there. So I'll put the thermostat back in after we clean it all up, and it's going to be amazing. So this is the part of working on the radiator stuff with, having to move the radiator up, what have you. Last week, if you didn't see, last week we ran the one wiper motor up there, put a little distribution center underneath the seat. If you haven't seen it yet, go check it out. It's got some pretty good wiring stuff going on there, and it's pretty cool. So anyway. And also, I want to thank everyone for watching, right? You guys keep coming in here. There's a core of people that just keep coming in here, and they watch what I get up to, and I really appreciate it. It's really like, I don't want to say like, oh, it's a loyalty base, but, I really appreciate everyone that comes in here and just leaves a comment or whatever. Just to help support the channel, for sure. And the last month or so with the Volkswagen, it didn't really do so well. I guess no one really likes the Volkswagen that much. I do. But anyway, I just wanted to thank everyone out to come out here and keep watching. So let me get the block flushed out. Like I said, I'm just going to run about 10 gallons of water through the upper neck. And yeah, that's what we're going to get into. All right, guys, so I got the hump off, and I'm removing the wire that used to come from the alternator. But while I'm up there, since I cracked open the brakes to add the residual valve, I am going to be putting in a proportioning valve for the rear brakes. So I have to move the residual valve down. So since I'm up there wiring or taking out the wiring here, let's see if you can see up here. Yeah, right there. So I'm going to put the residual valve either here or here to hold 10 pounds of pressure to the back brakes. Then I'm going to be running this inline somewhere. I haven't decided where, but it's the Wilwood one. You can adjust it to do the brake bias. I really don't know if I'm going to need this, but I'd rather have it inline and bleed all the brakes once than drive it and go, oh boy, and the rear brakes lock up, and then your tail end will be visiting your front end, right? That's no bueno. So that's what we're going to do. I'm starting to take off the line. I'm going to take this line off. I'm going to put the residual valve in here. I'm going to figure out where I'm going to put this guy right here. Yeah, I'd rather have it in the cab so I can adjust it. Like I can do like a brake check see if it's actually gonna work, and then adjust it, and then do it again, and then do it again. But honestly, I don't have enough parts for that right now. This was just like, hey, while I'm there, let me do this. And that's kind of like the flow of things, right? With any build. So what started off as radiator flush, and this turned into taking the hump off, which in turn I'm pulling out the wiring, which was this wiring right here for the alternator that runs up underneath the dash. I got that out, and that's what I like about running individual wiring. I can just take this one wire out. I don't have to fish through the harness or anything like that. So it's a little bit of, ask me how I know to do it this way now. Okay, so I'm gonna finish taking off that line. We're gonna make a new line for it. And yeah, so this video may be all over, but it's kind of like buttoning up things that I need to have buttoned up. And before I bleed the brakes, I might as well do all this stuff too. And I'm also replacing, while we're at it, that rear end has, I would say, the original hose line. So I'm going to replace that rubber line back there that goes from the frame to the rear end. Might as well. Since I'm doing it all, might as well do it all. Okay. So that's what we're doing now. There it is. Perfect flare. All right, guys, so this is what I came up with. So the stainless steel line from the master for the rear side will go here. So it goes master, brake switch, proportioning valve, then residual valve after that. So that's how I'm going to have it. Master, here's the brake light switch, proportioning valve, and then out the bottom goes this line basically. And right there is the residual valve. Okay, so what I'm gonna have to do, let me bring in here. I kind of wanted to bring this inside the cab, but you know, I don't have enough brake fittings and all that stuff for that. So I will be mounting it right here. So I gotta build a little bracket right there, bolt it to it, and then this one will come down with no problem and reach it. That way I can, right there, just got to pop off the hood and move it around. So I'm going to let that all set up, and I'm going to make me a little bracket here, and it should be easy peasy. And there's the bracket. So I'm going to weld that over here. I'm just going to weld it on that beam. Let me show you. I'm going to weld it right here. And that's where it shall sit. Just like that. And then that will come down. And that would be just like that. Perfect. So all right, we'll let that set up. I got my bracket. I just got to let that dry. And yeah, so then we'll finish plumbing that all in. Alright guys, so I went to replace that hose in the back, and this thread on this side is, it doesn't seem like it's goobered up, but it won't go in smoothly. So I guess this side's fine, but this side, no bueno. I don't know what's going on, if it's the same, it looks like the same pitch, but actually let me run this through the wire wheel and see if I can get this to seat up, because I don't really want to make a whole new line. I mean, I got everything here to do it, but let me just go clean this up. Well, it just needed a little cleanup with the wire wheel. It went right in. Let me clean that all up back there. Nice. It's always nice when it works out where you don't have to remake lines, a bunch of lines. As long as it doesn't leak. Right? Right. Clean this side too. Nice. All right, out with the old. And that's the line that I replaced. Like I said, it looks fine, but you know, you never know. These are pretty old. I mean, this is really old, like 93 old, because this rear end is out of a 93 S10 4x4. Yep, because the original rear end out of this was 410 gearing, and it was shorter, right? So this rear end is out of a 93, and I picked it up for like $100. The guy was just he parts out S10s. So anyway, there we go. One new hose put in. All right, so now we'll just kind of let that sit for a little bit. See if I get any fluid to run down in there. And while we're doing that, I'll show you how I got this all ran. And then go from there. Be right back. Okay guys, so we have the stainless steel line. It still comes out of the front port, which is the rear brakes. So it comes down, goes right there into the brake switch. So it reads full pressure when you step on the brake. And then from there, it goes into the proportioning valve. And right now I have it all the way out. So that means that it's got full power or full pressure going to the rear brakes. So you just turn that in to lessen the brakes in the rear. That you have to find out when you drive it. And then it comes down and then loops down and goes that way. And then behind this tire is the 10-pound residual valve. And what I'll do is I'll put a picture in right here for you to see how that's ran. All right, so brakes setup, whatever, version 2. We'll see how that goes. So I'm just going to let that sit a little bit and see if gravity will start leaking anywhere whatsoever. Eventually I'll have to bleed the brakes, but for right now, we're just going to see how that goes. So far, none of this up here is leaking at all. This would be like the first indication of something leaking. Now that I've added the new rear brake hose, we'll see how that goes. But what we're going to do is we are going to pop in my straight thermostat housing or water neck, right? So what I have to do is clean up the old gasket material. Yesterday I flushed out the block first thing, so it should be good. Clear water was running through it, and I've already done the radiator, so let's go ahead and get this stuff all cleaned up. And then what we'll do is we'll set that up because that stuff takes a little bit to dry. But yeah, and I'm waiting for 5/8 heater hose to come in and 5/8 bulkhead. to be able to run the heater lines over and then up into the unit up here, right? So that's what I got going on, and I'm still waiting for one hose to show up to be able to run this down here, which you can't see what I'm pointing to, but it's right here. And of course I'm still waiting for my transmission switch. I'm surprised they haven't refunded me and said go get it somewhere else. Anyway, all right, so let me take a razor blade, let me clean up that port area so we can get that all nice. And now it's starting to get warm here in Florida. It's starting to get up into the 70s, so we may have to take off a layer. All right, we'll be right back. Alrighty guys, so I've got my little rubber gasket in here. I cleaned all this up. So what I did do was I just took a smidgen of that liquid sealant. I just put a couple drips on the rubber seal so it'll hold it in place, so when I put it down it won't fall off. And then I'm just gonna run a bead around this thing, you know, nothing too crazy. They say like a 1/16 to a quarter, I don't know. We're just gonna run it all the way around the outside here. It is a little colder, but it should still come out, I hope. Or not. Oh, I guess it needs a little bit more. There we go. Okay, so there we go. It's like icing a cake, right? We're gonna put it around all the bolt holes. That's it. And that's it. So let's bring you in there. As you can see, boop, I already had the thermostat in. And these came with their own bolts. So here we go. There. Like that. There it is. So now, whoops. So now what we got going on here is a more direct path up. The other one was a 50 degree, and I just got tired of going to the parts store trying to find the right hose. So I have a 90 that'll go like that. I'll trim it down, and then this will come forward. So that'll go like that, and then that'll go like that, and then that will go to the radiator. Done. All right, so it takes an hour for that to set up and 24 hours to cure. So I got to run to the airport. Me and my son are going to go and pick up his girlfriend. She's flying into town. So we'll be back. All right, guys, so I got my pieces in for the lower radiator hose. So what I got in was a 45, an 1.75 inch down 45 to 1.5 inches. And then, actually, let me just show you. Okay, so here we are. Look at that. That's gonna do it. I got clearance here. I've got clearance up underneath here. Granite up here is about 1/4 inch from here. And I got a straight shot right there. But I'm clearing all the belts, right? So it's 1.75 inches, comes down here, and this was a 45 that actually went out to about here. So I had to trim off. So I trimmed off about that much up on top to get it to sit up in there, so the bend was right where I needed it. And then on this side I trimmed off that much. And this is 1.5 inches, or yeah, 1.5 to 1.5 inches. Very tight 90. Right there. So then this, actually, this one. So this is 1.5 inches to 1.75 inches, which is what the lower radiator hose is, or the lower inlet is for the radiator. So I think that'll work. So, but before I get the radiator in and test fit it even more, I think I need to get the AC lines on, you know, at least mounted up, so to speak. So I know I have clearance for the lower radiator hose for my lines that come out here, right? So the dash 10 goes up, and the dash 8 comes out to the condenser. With all this in place right now, I cannot get to the back. Well, I probably could, maybe through the wheel well. Yeah, I can, but it'd be easier to tighten it if this wasn't in the way. But that right there is gonna work. So I'm super excited about that. So let me kind of fiddle around here with the lines a little bit. I still have to get number 10 line, and I still have to get all the AC stuff right in. And then I want to run my upper heater hose into the cab. So I'm still waiting for those two fittings to push up through in order to put this in. So I'm almost ready to start buttoning up the interior stuff, right? That's why I haven't put any of the glass in yet, meaning in the doors or whatever like that. Pretty much I want to put the glass in basically last, just so I don't mess it up while I'm doing things. And that's kind of what I was working on this afternoon. After I came back from the airport, my one hose got here, the 45 with the 1.75 inches and 1.5 inches. Yeah. So I think that's about all I got. Well, I'm still waiting for one more thing to come in to just double check all that. But let me lower it down. I'm going to set the radiator in place just to make sure that reaches. And then once I get that set in place, I'll turn you around and show you what I got. But just know that so far I think I got a solution for that. All right, guys. So I got the lower radiator hose in. I've got 1 inch of clearance at least around everything, and I can still get the AC compressor in and out from the bottom. But yeah, so I had that 45, and I trimmed it down a couple. And then after I got it in there and I thought it was good, I popped the radiator up in there, and it still had to go over 2.5, 3 inches over that way. So the bottom of the lower radiator hose will go and match. So then I trimmed this much off. Still wasn't right. I trimmed this much off. pretty close, but it wasn't quite there. And then I trimmed this much off. And this is the side that goes up to the water pump. Once I trim that piece up, golden. It's perfect. So what I will do is I will bring you in here and I will show you what I got going on. It's kind of typical of like the LS stuff, what people have to do with that lower port that they have. But anyway, let me show you. So there it is. So what we got going on is 1 3/4 inch down to 1.5 inch. Right in here is a 1.5 inch barbed fitting inside here. Then it goes to my 90, which are also barbed on both sides. And then it goes way up in there. Let's see if I can get you guys. Way up there to the water pump. So as you can see, maybe you can't see because it's really super dark, but I've got my clearance here. I've got my clearance in front of the belt from the compressor, and when you look at it from down below, I have all, yeah, there you go, all the clearances I need right there. There it is. And I can still get to that bolt, this bolt, and that bolt up there, and I can take the whole compressor out with no problem. Huh. Because I still have to take this out so I can seal up, paint the bracket, and seal it up against the block where the mechanical fuel pump would have been. But there it is. Yipper. So that makes me happy. So at this point I can move forward, is basically what I'm saying. Oh, and then I already made my upper radiator hose, so that's the upper radiator hose, and this fits perfect. This one, out of all of them, this one was the one I wasn't really worried about. You know, it's a straight shot. But there it is. Okay. So that's where we are here. So all day today I've been checking my brake lines and none of them have been leaking at all. So I just have to bleed the brakes now. But I did get in a couple fittings here. I don't know if I'm going to get to them today because it is kind of late. You know, running down to the airport and stuff took about 3 hours out of my day, but that's fine. That's what we do. So let me look around here and see what we got going on, and then we'll be right back if anything else today. All right, guys, so I put those pieces in my paint booth right there in the sun. They dried up pretty quick, but I pulled everything apart, radiator out, alternator or AC compressor out, and I'm not going to put any of this stuff back in until I finish routing my heater hoses, which I still have to figure out. I have a pretty good idea, but I'm missing a couple fittings that I need, so I ordered those. But I did put, actually let me bring you in here and I'll show you. So I put the bracket in. It came with a gasket. So I put the gasket in, then I ran a little bead of the black gasket maker in there, attached it all up. So that's all done. I got all the hose clamps on. I know this looks kind of like a mess, but it'll work. I guess it's that idea of if it ain't broke, don't fix it, and that's not broke. Okay, so I think that's gonna wrap this one up. What I'm doing here is I'm trying to make these videos a little shorter for you guys so they're not like hours long. Some people may like the longer format. Some people may like a 20-30 minute video like, hey, how you doing kind of deal. It's just unfortunately a lot of things I do require longer videos, maybe because I go a little bit more in detail about how this all works. So if you kind of noticed on this one, the last video and this one, I just kind of blew through it because it's stuff that I did initially. And this was just basically redo Ricky, I guess you could say. You know, like the brake proportioning valve, moving the residual valve, replacing a brake line. The big thing on this one is more of like getting all the pieces to make the AC compressor clear, or that lower radiator hose clear, the AC compressor and the radiator in place. Yeah, and like I was saying, I'm not going to be putting any of the glass in until last. I've decided that's when I'm going to do it. Even though I have everything for the glass, well, except the windshield pieces. But yeah, I think that's going to wrap this one up. I got to order a couple 90-degree fittings for the heater hoses to go where I think I want them. Yeah, so the next videos hopefully will be buttoning up the heater hoses, maybe the AC lines. I'll get those made and ran up to where I need them to be, because now it's really starting to get tight, because everything has to go on this side, right, of the firewall. And my firewall is only like, oh, I don't know, about this, like this. So, and I have everything's there is what I'm trying to say. So it's about trying to get everything smashed in there so it'll all be serviceable, for one, because I still have to put the ports in. I need a binary switch, since I'm running just the mechanical fan up front and I'm not running an electric fan. I don't need a trinary switch. Trinary switch would be high-low pressures to turn off the compressor to keep it from being damaged. And then that third leg out would be for kicking on and off the electric fans for the condenser. But since I'm running mechanical, I don't need that extra kick out for the electric fan, because I don't have the electric fan, I guess. So that's a binary switch. And I'm putting it in line with the number 6 line. And then the 8 and 10 will be for the charge, right, where you would connect your hoses, so to speak. But yeah, so that's going to wrap this one up. I appreciate you guys coming out here. I don't push it much, but I do still have my merch, my t-shirts and stuff like that for sale, you know, on the website. So go check it out if you feel like it. That would be great. It supports the channel. And hey, go out and build something cool, guys. One weekend at a time. Catch you on the next one. Bye.